Hello everyone, today we will be making an image editor. The technologies that we'll use are HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Most of us are active on at least one social media website, and for that we many times use a image editor. So I thought it would be interesting to make your own. So let's see how our final project will look like. So here right now you can see all the buttons are blurred out. So firstly we'll choose an image. Now we have all the options: brightness, saturation, inversion and grayscale. We can change it to whatever levels we feel like. Let's increase the brightness a little bit. Let's make it black and white. Let's rotate it. And finally, let us download our newly edited image. So you can see the newly edited image has been downloaded to our computer. If we have gone wrong in the editing and we want to reset the filters, we can simply do so by clicking reset filters. We can also flip the image vertically as well as horizontally. So let's get started. Let's see how we can code this. First of all, let us code our HTML file. HTML, language is English. So every HTML file has a head and a body. Let's give it that head and a body. So let's save this. Let's see what we have created till now. It is an empty project as we haven't added anything to it till now. Let's give it a title. Image editor. Let's save it. Let's go back to our project. Let's refresh it. So you can see on top, the title has been changed to image editor. Moving forward, let us now add all the elements that we need into the project. Then we'll style them one by one later on, and we'll give functionality to all the buttons through JavaScript later on. Let's create a div. Let's give it a class container disable. So initially the container was disabled as none of the buttons could be pressed initially before uploading an image into the image editor. Let's give it a heading with h2 image editor. Let's create another div. Let's give it a class name wrapper. This will contain all the elements of the image editor. Let's create another div and give it a class name editor panel. This will have all the filters that we can apply to the images. So we can give any class name to these divs that we like, but giving meaningful class names will make our code more understandable and easier for us to code. First of all, let us put in the buttons for filters. So we'll create another div inside it with the class name filter. Let's give it a title, label, class, title, filters. Let us now give the 4 buttons for the 4 different filters the user can use. So we'll use another div for that. Let's give it a class name options. Let's create the 4 buttons now. Button, let's give the first button ID brightness. Let's give it the class active. So as soon as the user uploads the image, the first button that you want to activate is the brightness button. That is why initially we are giving it the class active. Let us create the next 3 buttons. Let's give this button the ID saturation. And the next button is for inversion. And the last button is for grayscale. Let us save our project and see what we have created till now. So you can see all the 4 buttons are appearing on the screen. Let us move forward. Let us create the slider underneath these buttons. So in the final project, we can see that there is a slider to adjust the value of these 4 filters. So let's create this slider next. We'll create another div with class name slider. We'll create a div with class filter info. This div will contain the percentage that we are showing. So here you can see that there are 2 informations about this particular filter, that we have currently chosen the brightness filter and the percentage of that particular filter. So for this we are creating this filter info div. Let's create a paragraph with class name. So the first button that we are choosing is the brightness one. So initially the name would be brightness. Let's create another paragraph with class value. This will be 100%. So initially brightness filter is applied at 100% or the original value of the image. That is why we are using the filter name as brightness and filter value as 100%. Let's move forward. Let's create an input type. Value 100, minimum 0 and maximum 200. So the slider is basically an input type with the initial value 100, minimum value of 0 and maximum value of 200. That is what we have defined through this line. Now we will add the rotate and flip buttons to our project. For that we'll add 2 new libraries. For that we'll simply add them in the head section of our HTML page. How will we add them? Let us see. Style sheet. We put the link here. The links are given in the description below. So we'll get the box icons here. Next we'll add font awesome library. Link relation, style sheet, href, we'll add the link here. Both the links are given in the description below. Let's save it. Let us now create the rotate and flip section. Let's create another div with class name rotate. Let's give it a label, title, rotate, and flip. Let's create another div with class name options. Here we will give the rotate and flip options. Let us now create the 4 buttons. Button, let's give it the ID left. We will now use an icon from the Font Awesome library we just imported in the head section. Let's see how we'll do that. FA solid, FA rotate left. Now we'll close the I tag. Let's create the right button now. For this, we'll just change the left icon to right icon and the ID from left to right. Let's save it. So you can see the 2 buttons have been created successfully. Let us now create the flip buttons. Let's give it the ID horizontal, for this we will use the box icons. We just imported those in the head section above. Let's see how we'll do that. We'll use the I tag, bx, px, reflect, vertical. Let's create the button for horizontal flip now. Give the ID vertical. Let's save it. Let us see how our project looks now. So you can see the 2 new buttons have also appeared on the screen. Next, we need the placeholder image. Till the time the user doesn't upload any image, we will show this placeholder image here. So let's bring this placeholder image into the project. Let's create a div. Let's name it preview image. Let's use the image tag to bring in the image. So img src equal to image placeholder.svg. We have already placed this image into the project folder. So with the alt property, in case the image doesn't load, what text do we want instead of the image there? We'll just use preview image here. Let us save it and see how our project looks now. So we can see the placeholder image is now appearing on the screen. Moving forward, let us now bring in the reset filter, upload image and download image buttons onto the screen. We'll create another div with class name controls. We'll create a button with class name reset filter. We'll create another div with class name row. Here we will add the two buttons, upload and download image. Here we'll add an input type, file, we'll give it a class name, file input, and it should accept any sort of image. And it should not be visible to the user. Next, we will create a button to upload the image. Button, let's give it a class choose image. Next, we will create a button to download the edited image. Button, let's give it a class download image. Let's save it and see how it looks. So we have everything that we needed on the screen right now. It doesn't look pretty. To beautify this, we'll use CSS, and to give it the functionality, we'll use JavaScript. Let us now style all the elements using CSS. First of all, let us import a font family. So how do we do that? So it's @import URL. The URL for this particular font family is given in the description below. We'll just paste it. Let's save it. So we are using an external style sheet. To use this style sheet, we'll have to import it into our HTML file in the head section. How do we import it? Let's see. We can simply put here link relation style sheet. Link is style.css. It is present in the same folder as the index.html file. Now we have imported this style sheet into the HTML file. Everything we style on this sheet will get imported into that particular project. Let us start styling our elements now. Let us start with the properties that are common to all the elements. Let's give everything a margin of 0, padding of 0, box sizing, border box, font family, Poppins. So this is the font that we have just imported. Sans serif. Let us give the body some styling properties. Display, flex, padding 10 pixels, minimum height 100 VH, align items, center, justify content, center, and let's give it a background color. Let's use the color ABC0CF. Let's save it. So these are just some values that I find are looking more attractive. You can use any values that you like. Web development, as I have already told you, is all about experimentation. Try different values, try different attributes, and find out what works for you. Let's save it. Let's look at the project. Let's refresh it. So this is how our project looks currently. Let's further style it. Let's style the container. Let's give it a width. Let's say 850 pixels. Padding of 30 pixels, 35 pixels, and 35 pixels. Let's give it a background color of, let's say, FFF. Border radius. So border radius makes our corners rounded. 10 pixels. Box shadow, 0 pixels, 10 pixels, 20 pixels, with a color 0, 0, 0 and 0.1. The fourth value is the opacity. The first three values are RGB of the particular color that we want. Let's refresh the project and we can see the changes on the screen. Let's further style the project. Container, disable, editor panel, container, disable, controls, reset, filter, container, disable, controls, download, image.
Let us give them opacity of 0.5 and pointer event none. So initially, the opacity of 0.5 and pointer event none will make all the controls a little dull, and nothing will happen when the user will hover over them. This will tell the user needs to upload an image before the user can change the filters. Let us further style the container. Let's style the heading. Let's give it a margin top of, let's say, -8 pixels. Font size 22 pixels and font weight of 500. Let's style the container wrapper. In the HTML file, we can see that this is the container class, and inside it we have this wrapper class. When we give two classes with the space in CSS, it means we go inside the container first and then inside the wrapper class and style the elements inside it. Let's style them. Let's give it a display. Let's give it a display flex. Margin 20 pixels and 0 pixels. And minimum height 335 pixels. Let's save it and look at our project once. Let's refresh this. And this is how our project looks. All the controls are currently blurred out except for choose image. So this will give the user a hint that the first operation that needs to be performed is choose image. Let's move forward. Let us now style the editor panel. So editor panel class is inside the wrapper class. So firstly we'll write wrapper, then editor panel. So let's give it a padding 15 pixels, 20 pixels. Width 280 pixels. Border radius 5 pixels. And border 1 pixel solid border and color CCC. Let us now style the title inside the editor panel. Editor, panel, title. Display block, font size, and justify content center. We will now style the options and controls inside the editor panel. Editor panel, options, controls. This means we are going inside the editor panel class, and inside the editor panel class we are editing two classes, options and controls. That is why we have given them with comma. If the comma wasn't there, it would mean that we are firstly going inside editor panel class, then inside options class, and inside options class we are going into controls class. We'll give it a display flex, flex wrap, and justify content, space between. Let us now style the editor panel buttons. Editor panel button. Let us remove the outline. Let us give them a height of 40 pixels, font size 14 pixels, color 6C757T. Let's give them a background color FFF, a border radius 3 pixels, margin bottom 8 pixels, border 1 pixel, solid, color AAA. Let's save it. Let us have a look at the project now. Let's refresh it. And we can see all the changes have been included into the project. Let us now style the other elements. Let us now style the editor panel filter buttons. Editor panel filter button. Let's give them a variable width. So we can put a formula here as well with the calc function. So 100% upon 2 minus, let's say, 4 pixels. So like this, we can also give a formula here instead of fixed value in pixels. Let's give it a hover property. So editor panel, button, hover. So let's change the background color when the user hovers over it. By applying the hover property over buttons, we can change certain styling when the user hovers over it with his or her mouse. This gives a really good interactive feel to the user. Let us now style the filter buttons. Filter button active. So when they are active, we want their color to be FFF, border color to be 5372F0, background to be 5372F0. Now we will style the slider. Let us give it a margin top of 12 pixels. Let us now style the information that we have given along the slider. That is which filter is chosen currently and the percentage of the slider. Let's go for filter. Slider. Filter. Info. So let's give it a display flex. Color. 464646. Font size 14 pixels. And justify content space between. Now let us style the slider itself. Filter, slider, input. Let's give it a width 100%, height 5 pixels, accent color 5372F0. Let us now style the rotate buttons. So we go into the editor panel, rotate, margin top 17 pixel, editor panel, rotate, button, display, flex, align items, center, justify content, center, and let's give it a width CALC 100% upon 4 minus 3 pixels. Let's save it and look at our project once. Let's refresh it and you can see the changes have been incorporated into the project. Now we'll use a new property of CSS here that is called the nth child property. Let's say there are 10 buttons inside a class. So if we write nth child 3, that means we are only styling the third button. If we write nth child 5, we are only styling the fifth button. So that is how we can use the nth child property. Let us see what the syntax is. So we will write rotate options button nth child 3. This means we have chosen the third child. Similarly, we can choose the fourth child as well. Let us now style them. Let's give them a font size of 18 pixels. Rotate options button when they are active. Let us style them when they are active. So let's change the color to FFF, background 537 to F0, border color 537 to F0. We will now style the preview image. Wrapper, preview, image, flex, grow, 1, display, flex, overflow, hidden, margin left 20 pixels, border radius 5 pixels, align items, center, justify content, center. Preview image, img tag. Let's give it a max width of 490 pixels, max height of 335 pixels, width of 100%, height of 100%, object fit contain. Let us save it. Let's refresh the project. So you see preview image has been styled appropriately. Let us now style the control buttons. Dot controls button, padding 11 pixels and 20 pixels, font size 14 pixels, border radius 3 pixels, outline none, color FFF, cursor, pointer, background none, transition all 0.3 seconds each, and text transform to uppercase. We will now style the reset filter button. So inside controls, we go to reset filter, color 6C 757D, border 1 pixel. You want a solid border of color 6C 757. Control, reset filter, hover. Let's make the background on hover of color 6C 757D and make the border 1 pixel solid, but we'll change the color 5372F0. Now we will style the choose image button. Dot controls dot choose image. Let's make the background 6C757D. So the important thing that you need to keep in mind is that you should not always make the layout very colorful. It should not have a lot of different colors. Try to play with 2 to 3 colors at max. So normally that makes the website look more professional. But you can try with more colors as well if that is something that you like. Let's now make the border 1 pixel solid border of color 6C757D. We will now style the download image button. Controls, download image. Let's give it a margin left of 5 pixels, background 5372F0 and a border 1 pixel solid border of color 5372F0. Let's save it. Let us now look at our project. So let's refresh this. Everything is looking exactly like the final project. The only difference is that these buttons are not functional right now. So to add the functionality, we'll add JavaScript to our project. Let us see how we'll do that. To add the required functionality to all the buttons, we will add the JavaScript file to our index.html file. For that, we will use the script tag. Let's see how it's done. Script src. So we have created the file in the same folder as our index.html. So we'll simply write script.js and close the tag. We'll save it. The script.js file has been added to the index.html file. Now whatever functionality we add through this file, it will reflect on the project. Let us start by making some constants to store the values. So we'll take file input and we'll say file input in it. Next we'll take filter options. We'll say filter button in it. Notice the difference. In file input, we have used query selector, while in filter options, we have used query selector all. As there are more than one filter buttons, that is why we are using query selector all. When there is just one option in it, we use query select. For filter name, we will use filter info name. Filter value, filter info value. Filter slider, slider input, rotate options, so there are more than one options, so we'll use query selector all here. Rotate button, preview image, preview image, reset filter button, reset filter button, document.query selector, reset filter, choose image button, document.query selector, choose image.
download image button, document.querySelector, download image. So these are some of the constant values that we'll be needing. Now we will proceed and try to implement the functions that we need. Let's take some variables now. So initial value of brightness is 100. Saturation initial value is also 100. For inversion it is 0. For grayscale again it is 0. For rotate it is 0. For flip horizontal it is 1. And flip vertical again it is 1. Okay, so firstly let's create a function to load the image. Whenever the user chooses an image to upload it, the respective image should appear instead of the preview image. So let's implement that function. We are creating a load image function. So the files uploaded by the user are stored in an array. So the first file uploaded by the user is stored in the index 0. So file input.files0 gives us the image uploaded by the user. So in case there is no file uploaded, we simply return and do nothing. Now in case the user has uploaded a file, what do we need to do? We need to change the source of the preview image and show the respective image, right? So URL dot create object URL file preview image dot add event listener load so reset filter button dot click. We are adding an event listener here. Whenever a new file is loaded, we are automatically clicking the reset filter button so that the original image appears. In case a user uploads an image, let's say the user increases the brightness to 200%. When the user uploads the next image, all the filters will be reset to their initial values. So the brightness will again come down to 100%. Document dot query selector container dot class list dot remove disable. So from the container we are removing the disable class so that opacity of all the buttons again become 1 and the hover event is activated. So the user can now use all the filters and the rotate and flip options that we have given to the user. Let us save it. We will add event listeners now. File input dot add event listener change load image. We will add an event listener to the choose image button as well. So choose image button dot add event listener. Click. File input dot click. Let's save it and look at the project once. Let us refresh our project. Let's click choose image. Here you can see when we click the choose image button, option to choose one of the images from our computer appears. Let's move forward and give further functionality to our code. We will now implement a function to apply the filters. Const apply filter, preview image dot style dot transform rotate degrees, scale, flip horizontal, comma, flip vertical. Let us now apply the remaining filters. Preview image dot style dot filter, brightness, percent. Next is saturate, percent. Then we have invert, inversion, percent, grayscale, percent, and we are done with the function. Next, we will implement a function that will change the image according to the filter options chosen by the user. Filter options dot for each option dot add event listener, click, document dot query selector, active dot class list dot remove active. Option dot class list dot add active. When a user changes the filter, active class is removed from the previous filter and is added to the new filter. Filter name dot inner text, option dot inner text. The name of the chosen filter changes. If option.id is equal to brightness, filter slider dot max. So max value in this is 200. Filter slider dot value
is equal to brightness filter value dot inner text is equal to brightness percent. If it is not brightness, so else if option dot id is equal to inversion filter slider dot max in this case becomes 100, filter slider value becomes inversion filter value dot inner text becomes inversion percent. Else if option dot id is equal to saturation filter slider dot max value in this case becomes 200, filter slider value is now saturation and filter value dot inner text is saturation percent. Else we haven't created the grayscale filter yet, so in else we'll create the grayscale filter. Filter slider max value 100, filter slider value grayscale and filter value dot inner text grayscale percent, and we are done. Let us now create the function to update the filter. Const update filter filter value dot inner text equal to filter slider dot value percent const selected filter is equal to document dot query selector dot filter dot active. So we are changing the class of the selected filter to active. If let's say selected filter id
is brightness. Brightness is equal to filter slider dot value. Else if selected filter dot id is, let's say, equal to saturation. In this case, saturation will be equal to value of the slider. So filter slider dot value. Else if selected filter dot id is equal to inversion. Inversion will be equal to value of the slider. So filter slider dot value. Else grayscale is equal to value of the slider. So filter slider dot value. And after we have updated the value of the suitable filter, we will simply call the function apply filter. So update filter function is complete. Now we'll add an event listener for the slider. So it's filter slider dot add event listener input update filter. Let's save it. Let us refresh our project. Let us choose one of the images and let us play around with these values. So you can see all these functionalities are working now. Let us now add the few more functionalities that are left. Let us now implement the rotate options. Rotate options dot for each option option dot add event listener. Click. Now if option id is equal to left, we'll rotate 90 degrees. Else if option id right, we will again rotate. So rotate plus equal to 90. Else if option id is equal to horizontal, then flip horizontal is equal to flip horizontal. If flip horizontal is equal to 1, then now it will be equal to -1, otherwise it will be equal to 1. This is a ternary operator. If the statement before the question mark is true, the first statement is executed, otherwise the second statement is executed. Else flip vertical is equal to, if flip vertical is equal to 1, then it will become -1 now, otherwise it will become 1. Let us just apply these filters by using our apply filter method. Let us now upload an image. Let us see the rotate and flip buttons in action. So we can see that these buttons are working perfectly fine. We will now implement the reset filter button and the download image button. Reset filter. So here brightness would be brought back to 100. Saturation back to 100. Inversion back to 0. Grayscale back to 0. Rotate back to 0. Flip horizontal back to 1 and flip vertical back to 1. Filter options 0 dot click. From the filter options, we are clicking the 0th button, that is the brightness button. So when you click reset filters, the chosen filter will again become brightness. And at last, we can apply these new value of filters. Let us now implement the download image button. So constant download image equal to, let's create this function. So we have to create a canvas here. Constant canvas equal to document dot create element canvas. Canvas dot get context 2D. Canvas dot width equal to preview image dot natural width, and canvas dot height is equal to preview image dot natural height. Now CTX filter. Now we have to change the original image uploaded by the user according to the filter values that the user has set. So we can copy this line from here and paste it here. Next is CTX translate canvas dot width by 2 comma canvas dot height by 2. If rotate is not equal to 0, then we need to rotate the image. So CTX dot rotate, value of rotate multiplied by math dot pi upon 180. Now CTX dot scale, flip horizontal comma flip vertical. CTX dot draw image preview image minus canvas dot width by 2, minus canvas dot height by 2, canvas dot width, canvas dot height. Link is equal to document dot create element A. Link dot download image dot jpg. Link dot href canvas dot to data url link dot click, and we are done. Let us save this. Now we will add the event listeners for reset filter. Reset filter button dot add event listener. Click reset filter. Download image button dot add event listener. Click download image, and we are done. Let us now choose an image. Let us change the filters a little bit. Let's reset. Let's again change the filters. Let's make it black and white. Let's download the image now. We have successfully downloaded the edited image. Now we will deploy our project. After deploying the project, we will get a simple URL that we can share with anybody in the world, and that person will be able to see our project through that URL. Let's see how we can do that. Through Netlify, we can deploy our project online for free. So go to netlify.com, create your account. I have already created an account, so I'll simply log in. Go to sites, click on upload. Upload the document where your project is. Click upload, and we are done. Our project has been uploaded. Go to site settings, change site name, and give it an appropriate name. And click save. Go to the URL, and you'll be able to see your project. Now you can share this URL with anybody in the world, and that person can also see your project. Thanks a lot for watching. You can find the link to the source code in the description below. See you in the next video.